Hi. uh, I keep forgetting to introduce myself. My name is Therese. And oh, there we go. I don't know what's going on there. The little thing is buzzing at me. But anyway, my name's Therese, and I keep forgetting to introduce myself on these. So I have just done that. This week's um, cast is going to be on our trip to Dubbo that we did on the weekend. It was really great. Can't or you don't want to travel internationally just yet or at all, I really suggest that you spend some time in Dubbo and the surrounds because we had the best time. We went with no expectations at all. I think Dave's mother said that the last time they were at the zoo was in 1982. I'm pretty sure it was about the same time space for me because I don't think my sister was born yet. So that would have been far into the very distant time and space continuum. So it was really kind of cool. So Dave came home early from work on Thursday, and we headed off. We were left by lunchtime. We didn't really have a plan on how long we were going to take to get there, but we left just on lunch, and being all excited, we forgot to have lunch. So we got to Tamora and decided that we really needed to eat something. So there's a really great little cafe called the Roundabout Cafe um, in Tamora, and they have some really good stuff there. It's all fresh, it's all made there on the spot, I'd say, because it all looked handmade. It's totally delicious. There's a lovely seating area out the front. So we sat back on our laurels and had some lovely time there. And then we saw that there was a Salvos because Dave's a bit of an avid op shopper. So we thought that we should probably have, well, he thought that he should probably have a look. And I really don't have the heart to say no to him when he, has his little heart set on something. So we went into there. There wasn't much joy to be had there. It was rather a small one. Anyway, returning to the car, it seemed that I don't know how this completely escaped my vision, but I had parked out the front of a very big toy store. There's a very big toy store in Tamora for all of those who are that way inclined. And so, of course, Dave had to go into the very big toy store and spent some time rifling through her wares and came out with a couple of lovely items that once they were safely contained within the car because it was pouring rain by this point. We continued on. And our next stop was West Wyalong because way back in the day, there was this really cute little shop that had all these non chemical things in it, like sunscreens and stuff like that. And I have a particular affliction in that type. So I was running low and I thought, oh, well, we'll go through West. What? Yeah, no, 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 no. It's been taken over by who knows who, and it has now just become a bit of a hippie wank. That's what it is. It's a bit of a hippie wank. Yeah, there was lots of stuff, but there wasn't much of anything that was of any use to somebody like me at all. So, but the good thing was is that we found another op shop. So this one was quite a big one, another Salvos, and so we had a rummage through there, and Dave came up with some treasures, which is always nice because he gets a little smile on his face, and it's always nice to see a little smile on his face. So then we continued on, and we just made a straight line for Dubbo at this point. We did go past the garden gnome house at Peak Hill. At Peak Hill, there is a derelict gold mine, I think it was. And they have quite a cool thing going on there where you can go up and walk around and see the whole thing. And they've got displays and different things. And it's really, we stopped and had a look, as you do, because, why not? Who hasn't seen a giant hole in the ground and been very excited about it? But on the way to that, there is this house that the whole garden, there isn't a garden, the whole thing. I wish I could show you a photo of it, but I really can't because I haven't figured out how to load things onto this. But But if you go to Peak Hill, which you really should, and you sit on the side of the road, try to stop before you get to the house, because otherwise you will run off the road looking at the house, and that's kind of counterproductive to a road trip. But go and look at the house. That it's great, and Peak Hill does have cheap fuel there, so that's another reason to go there is cheap fuel on the way. So then we were driving through, and we got out into the open savanna. There has been a lot of rain there, so there was lots and lots of lakes where there should have been paddocks of cows. But the thing that we did note was the road trains. Oh my goodness, the road trains. They were just and people with caravans. And while I am a people with caravan, it does make it very tricky when they are traveling together and you need a 10-kilometer straight, because they're all traveling too close together to go round in one go. So if there's anybody here who is plenty of space for overtaking in between you. Very happy you've got a friend to go on holidays with, but plenty of space. That's all what we need. But yeah, the road trains, just one after the other. You just get around one, and you just go 5 more kilometers down the road, and then there'd be another one. And it's like, oh, which made the trip a little bit drama-ish for me. But anyway, we got in, and the lovely people at Discovery Parks Dubbo had obviously realised that we had no, thank you Optus, phone coverage from the time we left, who knows where. So they had realised that we were still coming and that we had no phone coverage when we weren't answering the phone. So they left our welcome pack out the front so we could get it, and they had turned the air conditioner on in the cabin. Much thanks for that. It was very warm when we got there, very warm. And after sitting in the air-conditioned comfort of the car for a couple of hours, getting out into that blast furnace was not nice. So the fact that we could just open the door, run inside, and just lay on the ground in the cool air for a while, that was marvelous. So big tick to the Discovery Park people for that. Well done. So the next morning, we decided that Dave decided that he had been looking, and there were indeed four op shops in Dubbo that needed investigating before we went to the zoo. And so, we felt that, okay, why not? We're there for like how many days, so it's fine. So we went there, and it was wonderful because while we were walking around, and they were all big ones. So Dave did come back with, I think, 4 stuffed full shopping bags of treasures. I got a few books and a couple of DVDs and things like that. But Dave is the quintessential op shop treasure finder. He is the treasure island of op shops, which was great because he had a little smile on his face again. And while we're heading back to the car, we came across this chap who was standing next to a ghillie suit out the front of his little store. And he felt the need to tell us all about Dubbo and its attractions, because we obviously look like tourists. And so, he was a real character. So if you're down the main street and you're wondering what to do in Dubbo, and there is a chap with a leaf blower standing next to a ghillie suit out the front of a surplus store, go find him. He is better than any tourist information people you will ever find. So we got from him the kind of things that we thought were interesting to do, threw all the stuff in the car and headed out to the zoo. This was really easy. We'd already booked online and we had our days booked, so that was all good. We just drove straight in the gate, straight down to the entry of the zoo, and, checked in, got the stamp, got the instructions, got the map, and off we went. And this was really very exciting because I don't know, I think we got there at about, sorry, I've got an itchy nose. I think we got there at about 11:30, something like that. And it was going to be a rather stinker of a day. But we saw all the animals as we went in. So the giraffes were there eating hay out of their feeders. And we saw the tigers and the leopards and the cheetahs and all the other stuff. The monkeys came out. We saw, oh my goodness, there was so much more. We saw Poswolski's horses and all of this stuff, and it was all really, really awesome. Um, is that we would park the car in some shade, and then we would walk around and see all the animals that we could see walking. Oh God, this nose is driving me crazy. And then we would walk around and see all the animals that we could see for that spot, and then we'd get in the car and then we'd drive to the next spot and we'd do the same thing again. The only criticism that I do have of Western Plains Zoo is that they have a really nice cafe at the beginning in the visitors centre there, where all the stuff and the things are. And then they have another one which is called the Watering Hole, which is kind of halfway round. Yeah, it's only open for this much time, and there's not even vending machines or anything. Once they're shut, they're shut. And so we go around, we thought, oh yeah, it'll be fine, the zoo's open till 4. We got there at 25 to 3 and discovered that it had shut, holus bolus, everything was closed at 2:30. Even the water spouts had been turned off, so we couldn't even get any cool water to splash on our faces. So that in the middle of this giantly very hot day, not okay, Western Plains Zoo. So it was at that point that we decided to cut it short for the day, because by the time we discovered that and went back to the car, and I said, I've been going since 8:30 this morning. This is getting really hot and I am really not okay. So we went back to the air-conditioned comfort of the cabin again, and I'd already brought dinner with us. So that was okay. We were okay with that. But then the next day, we got up nice and early and we went back out to the zoo to see the bits, because some of the animals are actually locked away in the afternoon. You need to know that. So if you want to go and see specific things like the rhino and the monkeys and all that sort of stuff that the kids squeal and carry on about, you really need to go early in the morning, because a lot of this stuff gets locked away from the heat of the day. I don't know whether it's different in winter, but they get quiet time from the tourists, and the crazy amounts of children that just run up to the animals screaming like banshees. That freaked me out. So I don't know how they were coping with it. Yeah, so that was okay. So we got up nice and early because we weren't going to miss out again. And so we went there, and it was just like, and I'm serious when I tell you this, it is just like the animals were waiting for us to get there. So we would walk up to an enclosure, and the people coming back and say, oh, we've been here for like 10 minutes. There's nothing there. I can't see them. I don't know where they are. I don't know what's happening, but there are no, whatever it was that we were seeing. And we're like, oh, okay. And we walk up, and all of a sudden, like clowns out of a mini, all the, chimps or gibbons or lemurs or whatever it was that we were there to see would just come flooding out of this thing and put on a little circus show, and they would just be going crazy, and it was awesome. So with that in mind, we thought, right, they'd locked away the rhinos, so we went straight over to the rhino thing, and that was great because they had let the baby rhino out. We saw the baby rhino. It's so cute. You really have to do this. It is so cute. And we were standing there just watching it, just being happy at the fact that there was a little baby rhino and we got to see it, when all of a sudden the little fella just takes off and does a couple of laps around the paddock and then starts playing with his mum, and then they go and have a wallow in the mud. Oh, it was just so lovely. Just so lovely. It was just so wonderful. And we thought, wow, that's great. Wow. And we just stood there for about 5 minutes going, that's so cool. We're so cool. We're just having so much fun. So then we thought, right, the hippos are being fed in just a minute. And all we saw were 2 lumps in the water that suspiciously looked rocks yesterday. So we thought, right, we'll go along to there were 4 hippos, including a baby. So we saw a baby hippo, 3 big ones and a baby, and the man hippo, which was in the other one, came out for us to see it as well. Again, all the people were standing there, all of them, and all all of the rhinos came out, all the rhinos, I've got hippos and rhinos on the brain, all the hippos came out and they were feeding them, which was really cool. And then we saw the dad one, which was really cool. And so we stood there and just made gurgly happy noises for a while. And so then we walked around and we saw Boswolski's horses. And then we went to the lions. The lions, we drove past everything else going, were very nice, great animals, very alive, great animals. And so the two last things that we wanted to see were the lions and the Galapagos tortoise. And these guys were just amazing. We got to the lions just as the lionesses were having a bit of a sleep in their little thing, and we got there just as the lion came out of his little den, climbed up on this giant log, and stood there like he was doing a casting for the Lion King. And then he started roaring, and he was like, it was just the most magnificent thing you've ever seen. I so wish I could show you the photos. Because we've just walked down and was like, oh, what's going on? I can't really see anything. There's nothing happening. Then we saw this lion come out and stand on the thing and come up and go, roar, roar. And the two of us like, get the cameras, get the cameras, get the cameras, get the small children out of the way, get the small children out of the way, get the cameras, get the cameras. So we've taken all the photos and done the touristy thing and gone just like we did with the hippos and the rhinos. Oh, yeah, how exciting. And then we went, okay, well, let's go see that. And just as we turned around and walked away, he got down off his little log, went back inside and went to sleep. That was it. He was done. And it was just like, the two sides were just, he's like, do I really have to do this? And the lionesses would go, yeah, we did the frolicking on the lawn yesterday, frolicking, lawning, catting thing. Tag your it. It's hot. We are not coming out of here. It is your turn today. Get yourself up on that stick and do a bit of, meowing. And we'll do again tomorrow, but today it's you. And that's kind of what it was. So we just kind of went all excited. And then we went down to the Galapagos tortoise. And if you've ever seen these chaps, they're very big and very slow. And they don't do a lot. Well, ours did. Ours decided to go on a little marathon around the enclosure and out into the paddock, and one was going this way and the other one was going this way. So there was another one that was kind of asleep, and then there was a baby one in the other paddock. I think the other one was eating. Who knows? It all looks the same because they're big and small and large and slow. It's just, yeah. And anyway, this other one has snapped at this other one. So he's gone tearing. And we use that word carefully because, this is all relevant. This is tortoise tearing. He went tearing off across the paddock, and while the other one was having a bit of a nap and a bit of a snack there. And then the other one got all excited. She didn't want to be missing out on the thing. So she started, taking off across after the other one because she didn't want to miss out on whatever was happening over there. So we saw them just going around and around this paddock. It was hilarious. It was just hilarious. They've just sat there and like these people, oh yeah, we've been here for like half an hour and they haven't moved. And it's like they got in their car and left. And then these tortoises just took off like a Bondi tram round around this paddock. It was absolutely hilarious. So we felt very, very happy about things. We concluded our zoo visit, and we had a lovely lunch on the deck of the Visitors Centre Cafe. Beautiful hot food. It was wonderful. And then so we finished there at about 1:30 or so, and we thought, well, what are we going to do now? And then Dave said, well, remember what the crazy guy with the leaf blower, the ghillie suit, he said, old Dubbo jail. Let's do that. And so we went, okay. So we went back into town and found it and went in. And the Dine and Discover card was accepted there. So we used one of those, which was even more of a hooray moment. And we spent a good hour and a half, nearly 2 hours going around there because it's so interesting. And they have really good displays there. And it's just a beautiful space to appreciate what people were having happened to them and things like that. and we really enjoyed our time there. We were the only ones in the complex. Same as at the zoo. We were the only ones there. It seemed like everybody else had decided to stay at home that day, maybe because it was a bit warm. I don't know, but we were pretty much there by ourselves, which made it even better because we just got to the guy who was the ticket seller. He was telling us stories, extra stories that weren't there, which was so interesting. And he was such a nice man too. So I can't recommend Western Plains Zoo or the old Dubbo Jail enough for family budget friendly fun. I really can't suggest it enough. Even if you're a tourist that's coming from overseas, really do yourselves a favor and get down to Western Plains Zoo and do that. We were a bit tired after that, so there was an ice cream place in the mall next to the cinema. That is something else you have to do. They have the best ice cream. Oh my goodness. You just go down, you follow the Reading cinema sign, and it's right before the cinema. Oh, fabulous, fabulous. And really big serves. They're not stingy on the old quantities there, which is always great. Always great. Big quantities. Ice cream, hot day. Tick. Goes down well a treat. So yeah, and then we got some fabulous dinner. Had the best pork buns that I've had in a very long time. I think probably since we went overseas in Asia, BC, in the before times, from Mr. Wang's Kitchen. Now, that's just up from all the free poking today. I'm just telling you all the good places that we found to eat. Um, yeah, Mr. Wang's Kitchen. He takes your order and he cooks it right there. There are no warming plates. Whatever you are wanting, it all gets cooked right then and there. Mr. Wang's Kitchen, just across the street from the jail. Really a good go-to place for dinner. The takeout. He's a takeout place, but it's just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful food. So the next day, which was Sunday, it was our day to go. So we packed up nice and early. We didn't really have that much choice of a sleep in because the child in the cabin next door, which is far, far away, was making enough noise. I reckon he woke up us and the two cabins on the other side. So there was no chance of a sleep in there, which was fine. He's a small child. Children don't sleep apparently. Yeah, one more reason, seriously. So we decided to have an alternate destination on our way home. So we went through Yeovil. We went home through Yeovil and Cumnock down to Molong, and then just followed the road back, Cootamundra that way to get to where we live. And oh my goodness, wonderful, wonderful trip. So on the road, so it's the same road that goes out that you go on past the zoo, and there is a homestead and everything which we're going, but it's only open from like stupid hours. Like seriously, it was a weekend. If you want people to visit this stuff and patronize it and pay the ridiculous ticket prices, you got to be open on the weekend, people. And you got to be open when people are actually doing stuff, like making it open 11 till 3 every second Tuesday in months that start with W really isn't cutting it. It really isn't. So, there's the observatory, which is great, which wasn't open yet, but we weren't waiting around for it. So I'm sure that is amazing. Then there's the homestead, which looks amazing, but, what are you going to do? So you just keep going on that road to Yeovil, and on the road between Yeovil and Molong, they have something called animals on bikes, and it's actually a thing. So from Yeovil all the way to Molong, a lot of the properties along there have created with bits and pieces from rusty bits of whatever, have made these bike-like structures. And then on these bike-like structures, they have put animals or their rendition of animals. So you've got, there was I think one of them, one we had the best laugh was there was a echidna on a Harley, which I had to pull over. I was laughing that hard at one point. And then there was Toad from Toad Hall, Wind in the Willows. He was on a bike. He was on a fishtail bike. Then there was an elephant and a giraffe. The giraffe was standing on his bike eating trees, and the elephant had come to a bit of grief. Yeah, so they're the ones that I'm going to tell you, but they aren't the highlights. The highlights you have to go and find for yourself. But they are all in convenient, photographable locations. And also, when you're going through the little towns of Yeovil and Cumnock, and the little towns that are struggling, that all the little towns in non-tourist areas are struggling. So if you are a bit thirsty, or you're a bit hungry, or you're desperate for a coffee, call in at the local stores and spend the $2 for the coffee. It may make the difference between them not making anything, making a loss, or making a profit that day. It's really important that we all do this. It really is. I can't say how really important that we take the road less traveled, which is what Dave and I. Sorry, I've got to scratch my nose again. It's what Dave and I do, is the road less traveled. We always will, if we have to go somewhere and get there in a hurry, like we did going up, we had specific places that we wanted to get to. So we wanted to go to Tomorrow, we wanted to go to West Wyalong, and then we're going on to Dubbo. But coming home, I said, right, I really don't want to go down the highway. Are you okay if we go down this? Because I haven't been to Yeovil. And the last time I was in Cumnock was when my mother was rodeoing when I was like 2. So, take the road less traveled. Be safe. Don't go anywhere where, you're not sure that the road is good, but where it's a sealed road and there are little towns spotted in between, go to the little town. Have lunch or morning tea or a coffee, or just get a cold drink to go sit across in the local park where the public toilets are and just take a break. You're doing everybody in that community a real service. And, you're seeing nothing other than a highway, which is always really good. You're going through farmland. You're appreciating the beauty that is this country, and especially now since they've had all that rain, and it is absolutely amazing. I've never seen this country look this good, and I can't remember how long. And I've been driving through here for at least 30 years. So, appreciate it, and happy traveling. I hope you can do this trip like us, and I hope you have as much fun as we did. There's lots of other stuff to see in Dubbo. There's the cultural centre, there's the reserve where you've got Aboriginal, First Nation, Indigenous sites and things like that. Lots and lots of things to do. It's a lovely big town, lots of really lovely places to stay, lots of good food, which is really all you need to have a nice weekend away and a bit of fun time with the kids when all you can have is a weekend. It really is worthwhile. All right. Well, that's all for me this week. I forgot to show you something. This is my one find. And I actually nearly shoplifted it out of the store. I put it on and forgot that I was actually wearing it. But see, it has lovely little things, and it has a little thing at the back, so I look like a real serious person there. But this was my $4 op shop find in Dubbo. So I had to have it. I know it's kitsch and it's really quite sad, but I really needed to have this. This was my must-have item for the trip. It's very pretty. All right. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you again next week. Bye.